Company Limited from the National Commercial Bank in 1999. The 2,877 acres for sale in the two locations are primarily in orange orchards. Those were the stories making the news today. For more information, please visit our website at www.jis.gov.jm. Stay with us. Jamaica Magazine continues.
Jamaica is on a bold path to recovery. After a period of long, hard thinking, after a season of considering the stark economic realities facing the country, it is decided that Jamaica needs the help of the IMF and other multilateral institutions now.
Without that help, the exchange rate would fly through the roof, and the cost of living would go on fast rapid. Without that help, we would not be able to meet our bills. Essential government services would have to be shut down. It would lead to a catastrophe that is beyond description.
That critical help is now on the way. The IMF, World Bank, IDB, and the Caribbean Development Bank have collaborated to provide Jamaica with $2.4 billion over the next 27 months. These funds will support the aggressive medium-term economic program we must all now embrace with unwavering commitment and sacrifice to safeguard Jamaica's future.
We can't afford to deviate from this program. We can't afford to slip back into the ways of the past. Slackness, skylarking, and failure are no longer options that are open to Jamaica.
This program needs the support and sacrifice of each and every Jamaican.
I know that these harsh economic times weigh heavily on the very poor and vulnerable. Their pain cannot be ignored, nor can they be left to wait until the economy recovers. Last year, we increased the provisions for social safety net programs such as PATH and the school feeding program.
Despite the fiscal constraints, the government will be increasing those provisions even further in the coming budget, and NIS pensioners will not be left out. The benefits to Jamaica are many. The possibilities are endless. Positive results will include curtailing expenses and reducing debt servicing costs, resulting in reduced borrowing. Reduced borrowing will free up government's money so that it can spend more on improving social services like health, education, fixing roads, and providing better water supply. This, coupled with banks offering low interest rates, will result in a financially healthy environment for investment, production, and job creation.
We are preparing for that new environment, preparing to fast-track that transformation. A number of significant new projects are scheduled to come on stream in the course of this year.
The path of recovery will include the following positive pursuits: financing and build-out of a new LNG facility resulting in cheaper electricity, positive signs in the aluminium industry, at least one plant may reopen and new investments are being pursued, conclusion of the casino legislation resulting in increased revenue, the Harmony Cove project involving several billion US of new investment. The new Falmouth port is on schedule and will begin receiving megaships early next year. Fast-tracking of developmental projects, business expansion and investment applications. Economic project agreements with China and an investment mission to the Gulf states all show great promise.
The way forward is exciting. It will not be without its challenges. But if we make this fundamental shift in how we conduct our business, we will meet those challenges and we will be victorious.
Jamaica, this is our task. This is our challenge. This is our hope. This is a new beginning.
Thanks for staying with us. We now join our host, Ian Boyne, and guest on this week's edition of Issues and Answers, Ronald Jackson, head of the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, the ODPEM.
So Jackson, good to be talking to you again. But before we go into our discussion, I want to hear what some of the people on the street have to say about Jamaica's preparedness for an earthquake.
We are not really prepared 100%, but at least we have some awareness of what can happen or what is taking place.
I really don't think that we're prepared as much.
For hurricane, I think they're really prepared, but for the earthquake, I don't think they're really prepared for it.
I used to live in Portmore, and every time like a vehicle passes, the house shakes, which means that the foundation is not really sturdy enough. So if a bus is passing and the place is shaking, imagine what would happen if we have an actual earthquake. So I don't think that we're prepared any at all.
It's just a matter of coordination for the most part, but they are prepared in some way or the other.
Somewhat, I think we are.
Our preparation is strong. Our buildings are good. Very good buildings we have.
I have my doubts that we are fully prepared. We need to do a lot more work. People need to be more aware of what's happening around them. And when we do have actual warnings about earthquake or hurricanes or whatever it is, then we need to take things more serious.
Well, we have heard the people, at least some of them. Some people feel that we're not quite prepared. Mm-hmm. What is the truth?
Well, I mean, it depends on how you look at preparedness. And, something that we've always been speaking to. We are not as prepared as we would want to be. Certainly not. And I mean, one has to look at the fact that we're a developing economy, developing country. We have our own problems in terms of fiscal space. We also need to look at, and some of the persons on the street spoke to it, we also need to look at the spatial representation of the areas that are vulnerable to seismic events, Kingston being a case in point, and Portmore. That was alluded to in the views from the street. Now, that is an element of preparedness as to how well built your facility is, how you build, where you build in relation to how the ground will react to a seismic event. Interestingly, they also it was a broader issue of preparedness looking at hurricanes, and there was the view that we were better prepared for hurricanes and more well rehearsed. On the seismic issue, how well can one be prepared? You can have the best laid plans, yes. And we have an earthquake management plan. It's a plan that we're reviewing. We started this review process last year with a number of workshops, a number of training activities, and since the earthquake in Haiti, looking at the lessons learned from Haiti to look at some of the strategic interventions that have to be made. So it's something we have been doing constantly in terms of reviewing these plans. But one now has to look at the capacity of our first responders and the resources that they will have at their disposal. So yes, we have a coordination mechanism that has been tested for hurricanes. We see where it works, and there are some limitations. We have capacity within the agencies, because it is this capacity that was deployed to support Haiti. 10 firemen who proved very instrumental in the search and rescue operations, or JDF personnel who is still on the ground operating, the Ministry of Health, the doctors. Now that's in Haiti. We now need to look at if a catastrophic event.
Kind of simulation.
Yes, but a simulation under what I would say normal conditions for Jamaica, because we are transporting our human resources into Haiti to respond to that event, and that's an easier scenario compared to if it were here in Jamaica. And that is why I say, how well can one be prepared for an earthquake? Because you do not know exactly what are the challenges you will face, who will survive the event, how will the governance mechanism respond to this scenario, how will the coordinating mechanism respond to this scenario.
But I'm sure you would have very